Hey guys, today is day 2 of making inferences within a text. Just to remind you, the two things we put together to make an inference is our background knowledge, our schema, and what we know from life, along with clues and evidence that we find in the text to be able to infer. You're watching this video. What you'll do after this video is go to the link and type the class code to read the rest of the story. Just like yesterday, I'm going to read the first half of this story to you and model how to fill in your graphic organizer. Then you're going to go off and do the same, but you're going to read the second half of the story and finish and fill in your graphic organizer. The only difference is we're not going to read about a missing cat today. We're going to read a mystery story called The Mystery of the Cactus Arm. So here's your graphic organizer. Here are your quotes. Here's where you're going to write that you infer. The first quote we're looking for is on page 11, and it says, "Last week he bet $5 I couldn't catch a tarantula hawk, which is a nasty wasp." Okay, when I get to that part, I have to say what I can infer about Oliver. All right, here we go. Let me get my drawing tool ready because I'm going to underline when I get to that part. "I stand under the saguaro cactus in my front yard with my next door neighbor, Calvin. The cactus towers over us at least 5 times our height. Its trunk-like body and large curving arms reach for the cloudless Arizona sky. Oliver," Calvin says, "I bet $5 that you can't make that arm fall off. He's always betting me like this. Last week he bet me $5 I couldn't catch, oh wait, here we go, a tarantula hawk, which is a nasty wasp." Let's see the rest of what I had to get all the way till I get to the word out. Okay. "I ended up with the most painful sting of my life, but that was still better than having to deal with Calvin making fun of me at school if I chickened out." Okay, so based on that information, he got bet $5 that he couldn't catch a wasp. He ended up with a bad sting, but he says getting that bad sting was still better than dealing with Calvin. So what can I infer about Oliver? I can infer that he's afraid of Calvin. Who would rather get hurt than be made fun of? Somebody that's afraid of somebody. That's in my schema. So I use my clues and my evidence to finish that sentence. And remember, you have to give details, no one-word answers. I explain my thinking. Okay, what's the next quote I'm looking for? "Calvin rolls his eyes. You're such a chicken." Here he goes again with his taunting. So what are we going to infer about Calvin from that? Let's keep going. "A wooden support beam is wedged under one of the saguaro's arm. My parents put it there to hold the arm up after a tree branch fell on it, causing it to nearly break. I push on the beam, but it's pretty stuck. I don't know," I say, kicking at it lightly. "My parents are trying to save it." Calvin narrows his eyes and grins. "Oh no, I'll bet you $10. I'm tempted. I could put the money toward a new video game I've been wanting, Animal Crossing, but it's still a bad idea." "Nah," I say, "my parents might get mad." Calvin rolls his eyes. "You're such a chicken." Okay, wait, there's the next line. Here he goes again with his taunting. Now, if Calvin is saying, "You're such a chicken," and he's taunting him, what can I infer about Calvin? I can infer he's a bully. Calvin is a big old bully. I know this because he makes fun of Oliver and is unkind. So there is my evidence. Okay, next thing I'm looking for, I glance back at my house to make sure no one's watching. Okay, let's keep reading. Why did that guy have to live next door to me? I lean on the beam a little. I don't think so, I say, but I'm sure Calvin senses he's wearing me down. Fine, he says, $15. That's all the money I have. Whoa, he's never bet me that much before. $15 would definitely be enough to buy Animal Crossing, and maybe Calvin would finally leave me alone once and for all. Doubt it. I kick a little harder at the beam. It budges. I know I shouldn't do it, but the arm is on its way out anyway. How long could it possibly hold on? Deal, I say. Oh no, you guys. I glance back at my house to make sure no one's watching. Here's that sentence I'm looking for. And kick at the beam as hard as I can. So what can I infer that Oliver knows if he's looking back to make sure no one's watching at his house as he kicks the beam? I can infer he knows he will get in trouble for what he is doing because he's looking around to make sure he doesn't get caught. I know that because I know from my schema and my prior knowledge in my own life, when I was a kid and I would do something wrong, I would always check behind me to make sure there was no grown-up around. So I use my schema and the text to infer. All right, let's see what my next little quote is going to be. Yes, I shout, there won't be any teasing at school tomorrow. Okay, let's keep going. It moves about an inch. My toes sting, but I keep kicking it. The beam eventually clatters to the ground in a cloud of dust, forcing us to jump out of its way. The saguaro arm sways and sags, but it doesn't fall. Calvin pumps his fist. You lose. Not so fast, I say, picking up a large rock. I chuck it at the arm. Oh no, it bounces off and the arm sways again. I start grabbing every rock I find and hurling them at the arm. It begins to tilt, finally twisting and tearing off at the joint, plummeting to the ground in another puff of dust. Yes, I shout. I think that's my, yep, yes, I shout, and I'm stopping at the word ever. Okay. Yes, I shout. There won't be any teasing at school tomorrow. And with all of Calvin's money gone, maybe not ever. So when we said that, what can we infer? Why did he knock down the cactus arm? Why would Oliver do that based on that quote right there? I think he did it not because he wanted to. He did it because Calvin told him to. His reason was there won't be teasing at school tomorrow, maybe never again. So he did it because Calvin told him to, and because he didn't want to be teased anymore. He didn't want to actually do it. Isn't that sad? Have you ever been in that position? Someone's trying to get you to do something wrong that you don't want to do, but you're scared of them. That's what's going on here. The next quote we're looking for is Calvin is pale. Let's keep going. Calvin is pale. Okay, Calvin is pale despite the blazing heat. I can't believe it, he murmurs. I can infer Calvin is pale because. Why would Calvin be pale? Has he not gotten enough sun this year? No, I infer that he's pale. He didn't really think Oliver would do it. He did not expect that Oliver would actually do what he told him to. He expected him to chicken out, and he's really surprised that he didn't. Have you ever been so surprised that your face goes kind of white? That's why Calvin is pale right there. I use my schema, I use my clues and evidence, and I put it together. My last quote I'm looking for is Dad smiles, but I don't feel like smiling anymore. Uh-oh, that's kind of a spoiler alert. Let's keep going. What's going on out here? We whirl around and see Dad coming towards us. Oh no, he says. The arm broke off. He looks down at us suspiciously. How did that happen, Oliver? Do you guys think he's going to tell the truth? What would you do in this situation? I shrug, my shoulders shaking a little. I don't know. Uh-oh, he lied. It was like this when we got here, Calvin adds. Ugh, Calvin's lying too. We glance at each other nervously. Dad shakes his head. Bummer, he says. You know it takes 100 years for a saguaro cactus to even grow an arm? What a loss. Oh my gosh, you guys. This thing that they did that Calvin convinced Oliver to do just ruined 100 years of time. And Dad doesn't even know he's lying. Let's keep going. I blink at him in the bright sun. No, I hadn't known that. Oh no, Oliver didn't know. Still was wrong if he wasn't supposed to do it. Dad shrugs. Oh well, nothing to be done about it now. Will you boys help me wrap it up and carry it to the dumpster? We help Dad roll the arm up in an old piece of carpet and carry it across the yard. As we toss it into the dumpster, Dad says, just think, 100 years down the toilet. So sad. Actually, down the dumpster, Calvin says, chuckling. I can't believe he thinks this is funny right now. Dad smiles. Here's our line, but I don't feel like smiling anymore. Uh-oh. Let me fix that. I don't feel like smiling at all anymore. So I can infer Oliver doesn't feel like smiling because he didn't realize it would take the cactus arm 100 years to grow back, and he's upset that he's the one that kicked it down. He might even be feeling a little bit guilty because his dad doesn't even know he's the one that kicked it down. After Dad goes back into the house, Calvin grumbles, I'll bring you your money tomorrow. Then he turns and leaves. I watch him walk next door, the guilt, I was right, already building in my chest over what I did to that cactus and over how I'd lied to Dad. That even confirms my inference. I was correct. Okay, we're going to stop the story there together, but now it is your turn. You're going to start reading right here at I toss on page 12. You'll read this part of page 12. you'll read page 13, and you'll read this little bit on page 14. And you'll go into Google Classwork, September 24th, Inferring, the missing cactus arm, and you will do your graphic organizer just like I did, except for this one, you'll have to fill it in. Don't forget, you must give details to support your answers. One-word answers will not be accepted. I hope you're enjoying these stories that we've been reading together, and I hope that you have a great day and enjoy your time with the mystery of the cactus arm. Have a great day.